Let's talk about the WebRTC Insights and the main part of the subscription, which is the issues that we send every 2 weeks. You get these issues on your email and also in the portal. What we're going to do now is to learn how to read this newsletter, what are the different parts of it, and what we think of like the mental model that you need to be on in an ongoing phase of using the WebRTC Insights. Okay, so without much ado, let me just share the insights. This is one of the sample issue that we have. And Philip, do you want to go over the sections?
Yes, so we have split it into several sections. The first section is what we have seen in the issue trackers, mainly Google's WebRTC and Chromium ones, because these are the most important ones.
Mm-hmm.
We structured in a way that we point out, as of recent issues, the things you really should read. And then we sort it by priority the issues. For each issues, we categorize it, what the area is. So if you have a video team, they'll need to look at all the video issues. If you have an audio team, they need to look at all the audio issues. We also categorize the type of the issue. Particular regressions are something where you typically need to act.
Mm-hmm.
For each issue, we have a short summary of what's going on, what the update since last time was, and now we also highlight an action you should take.
Okay, so assuming there is something that you need to do, it will be mentioned as an action. For example, here, check the headset detection code that you have in your application.
Yes, and whether that's affected by this bug.
So that was the part that deals with issue tracker, actual bugs in different browsers usually.
The next part is about PSA, public service announcement, and any resources we found worth reading. This is more of an engineering-focused version of the Market Watch.
Mm-hmm.
And we give a don't miss. And then we point out the different things we found worth reading.
Okay.
Which is blog posts that are interesting, any intent to experiment in Chromium that is going on, and so on.
Okay. And release notes, for example, for Safari at least.
Yes, Safari still has release notes.
Then we have the WebRTC security part.
For that part, we're monitoring the Chrome releases and any issues that pop up in there that are related to WebRTC. We try to categorize them into WebRTC in Chromium and WebRTC native. If it's WebRTC in Chromium, you typically don't need to take action, but need to be aware of, in particular, if you have an Electron app. For WebRTC issues, it typically means you need to cherry pick a bug fix.
Yeah. And whatever goes into the security part also goes to a separate security tracker on a separate video and file.
Yes, that's useful if you have someone looking at compliance of your own C++ fork and so on.
Now, for security issues that are related to WebRTC but not to Chrome itself, we sometimes place here the actual problem or issue that we found. For example, here it's about Zoom and their security. Sometimes it might be about a popular open source project or whatnot.
Yes, and we don't add those to the tracker because they're not compliance trackable items.
Yep, they are searchable in this different way in a different video that we have for how to use Insights. Okay, then we have the Chrome field trials part.
Yes, that part is where we look at what experiments are going on in Chrome, because if an experiment is running out, it might be affecting your application, and then you know that, oh, this is going on. If an issue happens sporadically, then it's most likely related to this.
And for that, we already have a separate video that is mentioned in this specific section. You can just click it and read and watch. Next one is Market Insights. In Market Insights, what we have is, first of all, the most important parts or interesting insights that we've found throughout that time period. And then again, the same thing, a title of a subject, the links that relate to that, and things that we think about this specific trend in the market and why we find it important. There is a new categorization as well, which now means that everywhere we have categorization for the things that we write for you. Okay, now the thing is that A lot of the things in the insights are not things that you need to act upon immediately, but rather remember in the back of your head and then just move on, so that in the next issue and the one that follows, you think about that and then figure out if you need to make something out of that or not. At the end of the day, the service is here to make you aware of these things and not necessarily do anything specific about them right now. We don't know exactly where you stand with your application, at what state you are. And this is why we've also introduced now the ability to search these issues online. That on the other video, which should be linked somewhere over here.